Hello and thanks for joining me on this episode of Simply Saturday. Today, for our fast and easy card, we're going to make a dad card. We are headed into Father's Day weekend, and I thought it would be fun to do a guy card. Earlier this week, I had my June meeting of Stamp Club, and we made this card, which is actually a gift card holder. Some of the Stamp Club participants made a graduation card and some made a dad card, but this was very cute. Has the little pocket here that you can put a gift card, or if you're going to a grad party and want to just stick cash in there, that works great too. But after cutting all of these pieces of the Timeless Plaid Designer Series paper, I had all of these scraps left that are like this size. So not big enough for like a whole card front, but still good size. So I decided to grab these. This was my inspiration, trim them down and create a Father's Day card. And that's what we're going to do. So we're going to use Trusty Tools, which is still a stamp set and dies that are currently available. We're using the Happy Father's Day stamp and the You're the Most Awesome. Our colors of ink are Old Olive and Pecan Pie. That was determined because of the colors in the Timeless Plaid Designer Series paper. There's a bunch of colors in the paper, but I picked out those two. All right, let's talk about our pieces of paper and measurements. Because we're headed into the weekend and we have lots of plans, I doubt that I will do a separate article on my blog for this card. So I'm going to give you all the measurements right here. All right, the card base is a piece of Old Olive cardstock, 4¼ inches by 11 inches, and I've already scored it at 5½ inches and folded it. For the inside panel, instead of using white, I'm using beige. This looks really lovely as a neutral, especially with that green, and it looks great with the Designer Series paper. This piece is 4 inches by 5¼ and is going to be on the inside. All right, then I have 3 pieces of the beige cardstock. They have been cut to 1 5/8 inches by 4 inches. These are going to serve as a little mat behind each piece of the Designer Series paper. And so I have 3 of those in differing prints, all from Timeless Plaid. And these are 1½ inches by 3 7/8 inches. We're going to go ahead and put the card together, then we'll do our stamping and a little bit of punching. This is going to go quite quickly. All right, so the first thing that I recommend is that you take your beige pieces of cardstock and we're going to do a dry fit on the front of the card. And by dry fit, I just mean you're going to lay out your pieces, making sure that they're right in the location that you want them. You can check for your spacing and so forth. Just to give an idea, it's kind of like a road map, just to give you an idea where you're going. All right, once you have those in place, then what I suggest is starting with the middle and positioning that one with your adhesive. You've also seen me on some videos. Sometimes I will use the artist tape and tape these down. In fact, let's do that because they're kind of wanting to slide around. And it's an easy step. It doesn't take a lot of time. It actually might save you time because you don't have to keep wrestling with your little pieces of paper, your cardstock. Okay, so I've got some artist tape. You can also use Post-it tape or washi tape if you have it. I find that the value is really good in this low tack artist tape that I get on Amazon. There's a link for that below the video. You have to open the drop-down menu to see the description and my links and so forth, which, by the way, if you're watching the video on your phone and often on an iPad or tablet, that drop-down box is not viewable. So sometimes you want to watch these videos on your laptop so that you have access to all the extra controls and the extra things that I and others provide in the drop-down menu. Okay, you can see what we've done there. I'm taping these in place. I'm going to go ahead and add my adhesive to this one. And I don't have to worry about those moving out of place while I'm busy putting my glue on this one. All right, so I'm going to slide this right into place, centered between those other two, and looking at my bottom and top margins, these borders here, and that one is in place. All right, let's go ahead and do the second one. All right, we've got that in place. I think that that beige looks really good against the old olive. All right, and our final piece, then we'll be ready to add our designer series paper. This timeless plaid 6x6 designer series paper came out at the same time as the Storybook Moments suite of products. That one for me was not one that I had to have. I was able to say no to myself on that one. I didn't think that I would end up using it very much, but the timeless plaid paper has been excellent. I've used it a lot and am very happy with the colors and the prints in it. The blues, the greens, the brown. Okay, now I'm going to add my strips of designer series paper. You can kind of see what order you want them in, and we'll get those attached. I'm using the multi-purpose glue for this whole card. We'll see if at the end we have any reason to use any dimensionals. This is all in my head. I haven't quite thought that far ahead, and I have not made this card before right now. It's a pretty simple design as you're watching, and you could definitely and very easily substitute different colors, different papers, different stamps. Just take the idea, the inspiration of the design of the 3 mats and the 3 pieces of designer series paper and take it from there. All right, here's our third and final piece in place. That beige looks nice as the little mats behind my papers. Okay, let's go ahead and stamp the panel that's going to go on the inside. I'm going to do this with Old Olive ink and the Happy Father's Day stamp. And I'm going to go for the middle and then slightly raised. There we have the inside of the card. You've got enough space there to leave a nice message, whether you're making this card for your dad or whether you're making this card for your husband, the father of your kiddos. Okay, that looks nice. That's placed on the inside and that part is finished. Now I have a scrap of the beige cardstock and I'm going to do my stamping of You're the Most Awesome, this time using pecan pie ink. And the reason I'm just stamping it on a scrap is I'm going to go ahead and punch it out with the heartfelt hexagon punch. There's like a little piece right here that I don't like. Let me clean my stamp and give this a second go. It's not terrible, but it looks a little smeary for some reason. All right, so I just clean that with my Simply Chamois. Let's ink it again. Grab a piece of little scrap here just to see if we've got it corrected. Yeah, see, that's much better. Okay, so back onto my scrap. And great. Here's the heartfelt hexagon punch. I'm Just going to use it upside down like this so that when you put your cardstock in, you can see what you're doing. I'm going to line up those words, and I am going to make the words slightly higher than centered. All right, now I went through my embellishments and I found these rustic metallic dots that have since retired, but you can look through your embellishments and see if you have something that's not quite so blingy and girly, and these are definitely going to work well on a guy card. So I do think that we'll put this on with some dimensionals, and that's very funny. I thought I had restocked my little drawer with full-size dimensionals, but I have not. I have some minis here, so instead of taking the time to go across the room and get some large ones or regular size ones, we'll just use the minis. And actually, I'll show you how this is going to work. I'm going to put the last two that are part of this little piece. This probably was from a kit, as the ones that you purchase come in this size sheet, okay? But this was probably left over from a kit or a paper pumpkin. All right, then let's use up the scrap. So I'm going to just cut a piece from here and put that there. There's really no waste to these sheets because you can just use up the edges like so. All right, let's get this into place and then I can add my embellishments. I'm also looking at this and wondering, I think we'll do a little bit of sponging. This has been so fast. It's just going to take another second to do some sponging. I think before I finish peeling these off, we'll do it. Here's a little Stampin' little dauber, and some old olive ink, and I'm just going to scrape the edges a little bit to give that some color. So it's a nice little effect without making it too feminine. And then it'll pop a little bit more against the designer series paper. All right, there we have that. Let's finish pulling the stickies off some of these. Do we get them all? Okay. All right, so this is just gonna go, this is where I was imagining. I'm wondering if it should go over here. It could even go in the center. Oh my goodness. All right, I feel like what I typically do is over here, and so let's just do something different and place it here. There, done, decided. And then a couple of these, and again, because this is a masculine card, I am going to use the large ones, and I'm going to just do a straight line. I'm not going to do like a little V or triangle pattern like we do sometimes. I'm going to put one right here in the middle, and then one on each side. I just think that lined up straight is really suitable for this card. There we go. There you have it. There is our Fast and Easy Father's Day card, June of 2025. And that is our Simply Saturday card for today. Thank you so much for watching. And as I mentioned, I'll put some extra information in the description box below this video. Until next time, happy stamping.